Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another Planty video. So today we are doing another spooky special for October. And I'm going to be showing you the plants that give me spooky Halloween October vibes. I know I've done at least one video like this in the past. Maybe I've done it every October, honestly. But I adore plants that are just a little bit weird, a little bit creepy, unusual, and also have dark foliage. So the plants that I'm going to be showing off today are from any of these categories. This video is just the perfect excuse for me to show off some of my favorite strange plants. So, oh, also I have my Philodendron majestic here behind me. She is not on the list. She's too pretty. She's not on my list, but she's just hanging out here because I need to water her tonight, so that's why she's out of the cabinet. Also, I would love for you guys to leave a comment down below telling me your favorite strange, dark, or spooky looking plant. Can't wait to read through them. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up while you're there. Okay, we're just gonna hop into it with the first plant on my list, which I'm sure will come as no surprise. It is my Syngonium erythrophyllum, also known as Syngonium black. And it's basically a very dark leafed Syngonium. It has an extremely deep green front of the leaf. Just take that in. Like, look at how stunning. Oh my goodness, I love this plant so much. And then the backs, my friends, the backs have this beautiful deep like maroon oxblood red kind of hue to them. Oh my goodness, it is just so pretty. This is honestly just the perfect plant for the season. I love it so much. I love it all year round because this is one of the darkest plants in my collection. And I know that there's a lot of plants that are known for their dark foliage, but this is truly some of the darkest foliage that I've ever seen. It is just such a deep, beautiful color. I find it pretty easy to grow. I can probably repot mine soon, actually. It's quite rooted in here. They're easy to grow. However, the tricky part comes with propagating. These are known to be really finicky to get to root. And I definitely experienced that last fall because I completely chopped mine up and I lost almost all the cuttings. Like, I only really was able to save a few, which I potted together into this pot. So now there's a few separate vines in here and it's really starting to like grow out and get more lush. So I'm really happy about that. But other than the propagating, I find this to be super low maintenance. It kind of just hangs out between my two cabinets. So it gets just ambient light from the grow lights in both of those, and I water it probably once every 10 days-ish, and I honestly don't do anything else for it. It's never had a pest or anything. It's just been honestly super low-key. So yeah, one of my favorites, and I've been waiting for fall to roll around for me to really showcase it because it obviously just really suits the season. Oh, I just went into my cabinet and my Philodendron mame has spider mites again. What is it with that plant? Anyways, the next plant that I am going to be featuring is my Begonia Magdalene madsen. This is a hybrid of Begonia listata, and I'm not sure what the other parent is, to be honest with you. I just know it comes from Begonia listata and it looks a lot like that one. I'll leave it on the screen if I can find out what the hybrid is, what it's a hybrid of. Gosh, complicated. Anyways, it is an incredible begonia. It is like fuzzy and kind of has a velvety sheen to it, but the leaves are quite thick. Like, it definitely like holds its own. It's quite a substantial feeling begonia, and I feel like it's quite hardy as well. At least in my experience it has been. It definitely tolerates drying out because I really need to repot this. This is a fright of its own right here. I don't know if you can see like how many roots are in there. It's very rooted. It's in the crystal star pond mix, and I've been meaning to repot it for so long, but I just haven't gotten around to it, so I should probably make that a priority. But it has still been doing well. I do have it in relatively high humidity because it lives in the cabinet, but other than that, I don't do anything significant for it. I did recently take a cutting off the top, so that's why we have a bunch of these smaller leaves branching out. So the reason that I chose it for this list is just because, well, it has a really beautiful dark velvety look to it, but it also has this like bright stripe down the center and really like kind of bright backs. Like, look at that. It is just so cool. And it kind of gives me like toxic plant vibes, which I could put a lot of begonias on this list. I think I've only, how many have I picked? I've only picked a couple begonia, but there was more that I could have been on this list, like Begonia amphioxus, for example. That's another one that has just like the really neon colors and has like a very kind of like toxic vibe to it as well. I've been showing that one a lot recently, so I didn't put it on the list, but this begonia can kind of represent like many different begonias because a lot of them do really just have like that just bizarre, unusual, creepy kind of look to them. So yeah, I love this one very much though, and I never see anybody else with this begonia, so if you have one, leave me a comment down below. I would love to like hear from other people who grow this begonia and what their experience has been. You can see just how fuzzy it is. I got this as an extra in a trade, and I remember I literally gasped when I saw it because I was so just taken aback by how beautiful and how striking it is. So it's definitely one that I recommend if you are into begonia or you want to try out a begonia. I've never grown just the regular Begonia listata, so I don't know like how easy that one is or what that one's like, but this one is obviously very similar, and it's been great for me. I'm trying to get the cuttings that I took that are rooting in water acclimated. I was gonna say acclimatized. Is that, are they both a word? Acclimatized and acclimated? I don't know, but I'm trying to get the cuttings used to room humidity because I want to try growing this plant in room humidity. I mean, my room humidity is like relatively high where I am, so I'm experimenting with lower humidity for this plant. Speaking of experimenting with lower humidity, my next plant is one that I recently took out of my IKEA greenhouse cabinet and have been growing in my bedroom, so let me go grab it. Okay. Olive is eating, if you can hear it. Oh, you can see her too. Okay, so the next one on my list is none other than Philodendron serpens. Yes. So obviously this one had to go on the list because of the hairy petioles. Like, oh my goodness, they don't get much hairier than this. Actually, if there is a philodendron with hairier petioles than this, let me know because I'd be curious. I haven't seen any with like more dense or longer hairs on the petiole than this one, but maybe there's one out there. I don't know. And mine isn't even at like maximum hairiness. They can definitely get a lot more of these fuzzies on their petioles. They can get a lot more dense and longer as the plant matures. Mine is obviously only 3 leaves, so I feel like I'm fairly new to this plant. But yeah, it just makes it really unique and bizarre having such hairy petioles. Like, it's definitely one that people who aren't into houseplants, when they see it, they're just like, whoa, like that's so weird. So yeah, I do really love that a lot. I also have Philodendron squamiferum, which has hairy petioles, not as much as this one, but what's cool about Philodendron squamiferum is that the petioles are red, so it stands out quite a lot compared to the serpens. Actually, maybe I'll go grab my squamiferum just to show you. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Look at how red that is. Like, definitely not as hairy, but really red, and that just makes it stand out a lot, which I think is really cool. I'll show a comparison of the two. I've never done this, and I think it's kind of interesting to see because they're both really known for their hairy petioles. Okay, let's do serpens on the top and squamiferum on the bottom, so you can see the differences there. Both really cool plants, and they're both ones that I love specifically for the petiole. I feel like I've said hairy petiole like 20 times in the past 5 minutes. Anyways, I guess I would consider either of those to be on the like spooky, weird side of things. I really do love them both, and I really love this new leaf that my serpens has given me because it's a little bit darker, as I was saying in one of my last videos where I was giving my plant updates. But yeah, a little bit darker. It's getting a little bit less light, so we'll see what the foliage is looking like over the next couple of months. I would love to see some darker leaves on this though. That would just like add to the whole ambiance, you know? So yeah, one of my favorite plants, and I'm really excited to show it off a little bit more in this video. Okay, so next is one that I haven't really shown that much, but I did pot this up a couple of months ago, and it's starting to grow out a little bit, and it really does just give me like fall, October vibes, and it is a mixed pot, which I don't do very often. I do have a couple of mixed pots, but not very many. So this one has a Philodendron Dark Lord, which is known as being like a darker philodendron, obviously, as the name implies. And then it is mixed with a few baby Philodendron Silver Sword that are growing in here. And this was inspired by a photo that one of my friends had seen on Facebook where somebody did a mixed pot like this, and it was, the plants were larger in that photo. So that's my goal, is to like mature them a bit and grow them out, because the contrast is just so beautiful between these two plants in particular. And y'all know I love Philodendron Silver Sword. This is the like only Dark Lord that I have, and the first time I've ever grown this plant. Mine isn't very dark, but I don't know if that's just because it's very young. I grew this from a wet stick. It's got maybe like 5 or 6 leaves on it, so we'll see what it looks like as it matures. I'm also open to any care tips for this guy if you have any. But I just love like the contrast. I love everything about this, honestly, and the terracotta pot, I just think it's so beautiful, and it really is just like really striking, especially the silver, because it really pops against the dark. So I think that as the Silver Sword grows more, this is just gonna look absolutely stunning, and I'm so excited. Both of these plants on their own are quite unique, and especially as they mature, so I just can't wait for the future of this little situation here. I think it's just gonna look awesome. Yeah, I just think that it's really cool, and I've really been appreciating it a lot more, especially as it's kind of starting to grow in. So yeah, I just think that it's gonna be a really unique plant. Alright, of course I could not have done this video without my beautiful Alocasia cuprea. This is a pretty popular Alocasia because of its unique alien-like appearance, and I will say that I am totally on board with this. I love this so much. The more that mine grows, the more interested in it I become. I don't know why. I think this leaf is hitting something on the shelf because it's kind of like misshapen at the bottom here. Not sure what's up with that. But yeah, as you can see, it has phenomenal ribbing. The color is incredible. It's like it's a very like intergalactic color, honestly. Like, it's kind of reflective. It's purple, it's pink, it's very dark. It's almost like has a holographic look to it when the light hits it. Very unique, very cool, and what I like even more about this Alocasia is that it seems to be very hardy. I can underwater this thing. I can honestly just leave it to fend for itself, and it's been perfectly fine. And as you can see, mine is quite young. It only has 3 leaves on it, but 4 on the way, which is very exciting. But mine is quite young, and usually that's when plants need a lot of extra care and attention, especially Alocasia in my experience. Like, I struggled a lot with my dragon scale when it was small. Same with my Alocasia micholitziana. Yeah, for some reason they were just very difficult when they were small, but this one has never given me any issues. I should probably pay it a little bit more attention than I do, and it's still in a terracotta pot, so you know, if that doesn't tell you it's a strong, tough Alocasia, I don't know what will. Because a lot of them would not tolerate being in a terracotta pot and being underwatered and being forgotten about. But yeah, this one has just been so easygoing, and it's obviously just like extremely unique and strange looking, and that is of course why I love it and why many of us love it. I feel like these are really gaining popularity right now. They're a little bit more accessible, seeing people get them a little bit more, which is really exciting. It always makes me so happy to see more people getting a plant, and especially one that I have, because then it feels like we can learn from each other and admire photos of each other's and just kind of like share the experience of growing them together, you know? So really love that. This just sits on the plant shelf in my bedroom. It does not get any special humidity or anything like that. It gets kind of like indirect or ambient lighting from the grow lights around it. It doesn't have a grow light directly on it, but like way up above is my Soltech Solutions light, and then I have my Plant Spectrum 32 on the ground, and it just kind of gets like whatever light comes off of those. So yeah, really fantastic alocasia in my opinion. Okay, obviously I could not do this video without showcasing my Philodendron Florida Ghost, and just looking at it in the viewfinder right now, I cannot believe how big this plant is getting. And to be honest with you, I didn't think that I would still be growing this plant in pond. I grew this from a wet stick and it's always been in pond. It was one of my original like experimental plants when I was first getting into pond. And yeah, I'm happy to say that it is still absolutely thriving. So yeah, really starting to get more mature leaves. The color is absolutely beautiful. Mine has more of that minty look. I did say in one of my last videos that I'm experimenting with moving this a bit closer to my Soltech Solutions Grow Light, and I think that it's paying off because you can see how light this new leaf is coming out. Absolutely gorgeous. These seem to be really affected by how much light they're getting. So yeah, I just wanted the new leaves to come out just a little bit lighter in color, a little bit of like a creamier white color, because they were coming in more of like a limey green color, which is fine, but you know, it's really special when they come out like that stark white and then it stands out so much among the other leaves and then it slowly changes color. So we'll see how that goes, because I have had trouble in the past with the leaves coming out just white and then just dying off and not changing to green, so it really is like a bit of a balance. But yeah, such a beautiful plant, super easy going for me as well. I just care for it the same as any of my, well actually that's not true because it's in this self-watering pot, so it's way easier to care for than any of my other plants, because all I do is just top up the water whenever this thing gets to the bottom. There's a little gauge right there. So it's just super easy. I only have to do that probably once every 10 days, maybe even longer. It's very low maintenance. And like I said, just lives in my bedroom on the plant shelf. Absolutely no issues with it, and it's phenomenal all year round. But of course, she is the Philodendron Florida Ghost, so when spooky season approaches, I just really start, you know, keeping my eye on her even more and appreciating her even more, because she is the ghost of the fam, so we love her. Okay, we're gonna start getting into some weirder ones. Okay, this is another one where it's really just like, this is the time for this plant to shine, and that is my zombie plant. This is actually a type of Euphorbia, but it literally just looks like dead sticks shoved into a pot or something. Like, look at it, it's so bizarre. That, or it looks like something that should be like at the bottom of the sea. It does give me like aquatic plant vibes. Such a strange and unique plant. After I unboxed this, which was I think in the spring, some of you did comment that you went out and got one for yourselves as well, because they really are just so bizarre and very easygoing as well. I just treat this like most of my succulents, water probably once every couple of weeks. It sits on the windowsill in my bedroom, which gets like indirect, maybe medium-ish light, I would say, medium to bright light. And it honestly just hangs out, sits there, looks cool, looks strange. It did have little tiny flowers on the tips at one. Oh, there's one that's like dried up. Oh my goodness, I wonder if you'll be able to see. Oh, it's gonna be too small, I think, but they're like the tiniest little yellow flowers that come out, which is just like so cute, and honestly like kind of hilarious when they flower, because it like this honestly just looks like a piece of a stick and then there's just like these cute little yellow flowers on the tip. I think that this is so cool. I love Euphorbia in general. Oh, that just reminded me of another plant I should have put on this list, which is my Euphorbia White Ghost. I didn't even think about it. I do have the Euphorbia White Ghost. Maybe I should grab that too. This is kind of tucked away in front of my window, which is why I didn't really think about it. And another reason why I didn't really think about it is because this plant has not done anything for me all year. I did end up having to propagate this like last winter, I want to say, or maybe at the very beginning of the spring. Anyways, it rooted up and it seems to be doing well, except yeah, it really hasn't done anything for me, but it looks healthy. It's not like getting worse or browning or anything, so I'm really happy with that. As you can see, I did stake it up with this chopstick because it was leaning quite a bit, so I just wanted to like straighten it out. But yeah, this is a plant that I should have put on this list just because it is called the white ghost, and as you can see, it is mostly like a stark white, which is really cool, really unique. When I first got it, it was quite a bit taller before I propagated it, and a lot of people commented that they thought it was like a spine, which is hilarious that it just like gives like bone skeleton kind of vibes. I love that. Very like creepy and strange. So yeah, just a really cool euphorbia. So I'll group those two together on this one. Okay, so this next one is the other strange begonia that I had on this list, and it is my Begonia dracopelta. Now this one is honestly like quite creepy to look at. Like if you look at the texture, it looks like either like really weird like warty skin or like something melting, or I don't know, it's just very, very strange. This plant took a bit of a beating this past month. I let it dry out too much. In fact, it's dry right now, so I'm gonna be watering it after this video. But yeah, as you can see, it's just so bizarre. I love it so much. You can see it does have a baby leaf right there, which looks, let me see if I can focus, there we go, which looks really healthy. So I'm glad to see that coming in. So cute, and it looks like there's gonna be another one right there. This plant bloomed for me this summer, which was really cool, and apparently they're really easy bloomers. I just find this to be like such a cool, unique begonia, and it reminds me of the Begonia melanobalata. Is that what it's called? I think so. The one that has like the pointy spikes to it. I really want that one too, but I have this one which is very similar, so honestly, similar kind of vibe. One day I'll get the melanobalata too, but for now I have this one and I really appreciate it. I love the colors too, like those like bright, toxic looking colors. Very cool. I feel like begonias, and especially begonias like this, I feel like they're really underrated because people are scared of them, and they're tougher, they're more hardy than you think, because even if you kill them, a lot of the times they're able to grow back, at least in my experience with begonias and like more terrarium type begonias. Most of the time I'm able to save them, but it's mostly just humidity and water that they need. So this does live in my IKEA Millsbow tall greenhouse. And yeah, it honestly is doing quite well. It has like a ton of roots in here, which is really cool. So I'm excited to watch this grow even more and to kind of like rejuvenate it and rehab it from its struggles over the past month or two, which was all due to my neglect. But yeah, just such a cool plant. Alright, so next is my rat tail cactus, which is one of my favorite plants. I love this. I love any type of trailing plant in general, but like trailing cactus type plants, like this one, my monkey tail cactus, any type of like ripsalis, like I have a mouse tail cactus, ripsalis paradoxa. I love all those types of plants, but I just had to pick this one because I feel like it does just give like the creepiest vibes, and the name rat tail, like come on, Halloween vibes for sure. Anyways, this is mine. It has these 4 that are trailing pretty long, honestly. This is what it looks like. And then it has 3 up here. These are actually all new growth from this summer that are still growing and getting longer. And then I guess eventually once they get heavy enough, then they'll lean over and start trailing with the rest. But yeah, this plant has been doing so well for me, which I'm so grateful for, because I did have one of these in the past, just a small one, and it perished on me, which was so sad last year. So this is one that Plant Haven Toronto sent me to replace that one, which was just so sweet. But yeah, this is one that I always want to have in my collection. I just think that it's so cool, and like I said, any type of trailing cactus just gives off like it's just such an unusual plant to see. My monkey tail is very especially bizarre right now as well. If you haven't seen, I have a whole video on my monkey tail cactus and propagating it over the summer, and she be looking crazy right now. So I didn't put her in this one because I just showed her. I just made that whole video about her. But yeah, just a moment for the rat tail. This sits in my south facing window. It does get some direct sun throughout the day, and I just water it pretty much when I water the rest of my cactus and succulents on that windowsill, which is usually about once every 10 days. It could probably stand to be watered a little bit more often. Like, it's quite dry right now. I'm also going to water this after I'm done filming this video, but it seems to be like very tolerant. I would say that light's probably the most important thing for this cactus if you want it to grow at any type of substantial rate. That's what I try to prioritize for it at least. But yeah, it's doing really well, and I just think that it is such a cool and unique plant, and if you're looking for something like this, I can definitely recommend the rat tail cactus. Okay, last but not least, of course, I had to include my Philodendron tortum, which, first of all, it's just nice to show y'all what he's looking like because he is getting quite large now, and he actually lost a leaf. The top of this plant snapped off not recently, maybe like a month ago, so it's putting out a new growth point. Oh my goodness, it's so hard to show this one because its leaves are just everywhere. It's putting out a new growth point right there, so it is going to continue to grow up, but there's a secondary plant right here with the very beginnings of a new leaf starting to poke out here. Now, the reason that I chose this plant is because, well, it's obviously just like a really unique philodendron, very different from anything else that I have in my collection, very just kind of like strange, and I love the growth pattern, I love the leaves, really just like everything about it. I mean, even the leaves by itself just gives a bit of like a creepy kind of like centipede, just like weird kind of look. But what's really bizarre and cool about this plant is the way that the new leaves look when they're emerging. Now, I wish I was putting one out right now, but this one is just like a little too early to be able to show you down here. So I'll insert a photo of what the leaves look like when they're unfurling, because they just look like so contorted and twisted and strange, and I just love it so much. That was probably this big seller on this plant for me. I just thought that the new leaves unfurling looked so bizarre and cool, and that is why I really wanted one. In general, it's just a really unique plant, and I highly recommend this one. I find them super easy to care for. I've had an easy time propagating them as well. I've just really had like zero issues with it, and it's so different compared to anything else in my collection, so I really do recommend it. This still lives in my IKEA cabinet right now, but I'm thinking that I'm going to be taking it out sometime soon just because it's going to be outgrowing that space. So yeah, I'm gonna have to find somewhere to put it, which is starting to become a challenge because all of my plants are growing and having to come out of the cabinet, and I live in a very small space, so just trying to like squeeze them all in is a bit tricky, but I'm sure that I will find somewhere for it. And like I said, it's very easy care, so it's very low stress in that way, which is nice. I still need to eventually get it on some type of pole or something. I just have this little stake in here. But yeah, definitely love this one. This is the last one that I have to share with you today. I hope that you guys enjoyed all of the plants on my list. This is one of my favorite times of the year, obviously, so I just have to take every opportunity that I can to kind of do like these little themed videos. And I really just do love everything kind of unusual and different. So like I said, make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave me a comment down below. I would love to hear from you, and I would love to hear which is your favorite spooky-ish plant. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!